Good morning. This is the morning report. Although I may have a pull off my bottle of Johnny Walker. I woke up prematurely because of dampness. And appearing on my screen was a mass coronal ejection and interfering with airplane communications. For you young fuckers who don't remember, it was back in the summer of 90 or 91 that the 11-year solar cycle was off. Communications were out all across America and the world. You can't, if we're having problems in America, you're having problems around the world. I remember that summer very well because I had trouble making long distance calls because they were at that time already being transmitted by microwaves. Sorry. And there was almost no television nor radio, especially radio. You couldn't even pick up Stephen King's. I think he already had his rock and roll station. Couldn't get it. And we barely were able to receive local television back in summer of 90 or 91. I'm not going to commit to either one. Oh, it's a bit frigid this morning. They say it's 42 at their reporting stations, and I would say it's more like 38. And I'm not really properly dressed. It's been 2 years since they've had flannel-lined khakis. They're just not on the market anymore. So you have to have thermals, etc. And I had a little problem with my thermals during the night. So a lot of you talk about climate change. There may be a climate change coming up because of solar activity. Let's not forget that more than a dozen years ago, those of us who were in the northeast of the country, Maine, we were almost completely shut off from all communications. This was when cell phones were non-extant. Canada hadn't introduced its BlackBerry yet. There were almost no means of communication other than the giant microwave horn on top of a building right next to a building that the following summer I rented an apartment there. The summer I'm talking about, I had rented an apartment in Bangor, Maine. And there was nothing. You couldn't really even watch TV. You couldn't make a long distance phone call. Communications were absolutely out. So some jackass popped up on my channel the other morning. And thankfully, their guy in Northeast Texas set his ass straight about climate change. Climate's always been changing. And it's totally dependent on the sun. And the first thing on my phone this morning, it was actually been on all night. But when I turned on the screen, it said that there's been a massive solar coronal ejection, which will fuck with global communications. Of course it will. You fucking idiots. You people who've never taken simple geology 101 and biology 101, and you believe everything that Greta Thunberg says, you're fucking retards. So, I'm sorry, I'm a little bit chilly right now. I'm not a young man anymore. I'm not hot-blooded. And the system that relies upon that coronal ejection is, I don't think it's keeping me up to date. It says it's 42. It feels more like 38, and I'm properly dressed on top, but on bottom all I have is this fart sack, keeping my legs from freezing. But I needed to do what I did this morning, which is remove the dressings because it's been too long. The cotton has absorbed all it can absorb, and I need to put on new dressings. You know, before that, even the hospital over there put it on those stupid ass rayon polyester super absorbent. I'm sorry. I don't know what you did to rayon or polyester to make it absorbent, but it just doesn't really absorb shit. Those dressings were off within just a day or two. And I had to go hunt up pure cotton. Anyway, yeah, there's such a thing as climate change. It's been changing forever. As Steve Smith, aka Fixed Gear, pointed out to some body commenting on my channel, having the audacity to comment that, oh, climate change this, climate change that. Yeah. I want to make one thing perfectly straight before I hang up here, is that just watch George Carlin's 7 minutes and 14 seconds on global warming. You can find it on the web, on YouTube. And he'll let you know that there's no way that man can possibly alter this planet except for the good. As I keep repeating to people who are unfamiliar with the Haber process and unfamiliar with the fact that in previous bio-rich eras, there was a lot of carbon sequestered in the ground. And if we don't keep bringing that carbon up to the surface and putting it in the air as carbon dioxide, we will have no plants to eat for all you fucking vegans, vegetarians, and for my dinner, the beef. I'm doing fairly well because for days now I've eaten nothing but beef, good mild cheddar cheese with a nice little tang to it, just enough lactic acid in there to make it, but not too much, not sharp, mild cheddar cheese, and bananas, and that's pretty much it, because that's the only thing I could find around here that's falls under the classification of non-toxic. Okay. Listen, really, YouTube, of course, Facebook has gone to automated community standards because they can't afford to hire the 17-year-olds from and pamper them, and because they probably were getting into a bit of trouble with having a bunch of 16, 17-year-old juniors from Coronal High School hanging around. Yes, sirree, Bob. Got to have my cough medicine. And then there was Helen DeLeon. It was like she was hard to find. Pursued me for years through like 4 or 5 Facebook pages. She had this bizarre theory that men liked women with monster titties and Kim Kardashian ghetto booties, and man, was she off. She'd keep stealing. This is my early morning report. This is a little after like 2:30 a.m. And I'm just barely staying warm at this point. Helen DeLeon, a graduate in like psychology from the University of Houston. That's where she kept giving herself away on. You know, I did the search on Helen DeLeon. She had 50 at all times because she was a regional Facebook judge. You're not going to lie to me or bullshit me. I can spot them a mile away. I can tell she had 50 blank Helen DeLeon pages, which she could change the name and put up and steal pictures from around the world, because Facebook can steal pictures. So can YouTube and Google. Anything in your phone, anything out there on the web, they can just thieve it unless it has a copyright watermark on it. They can just thieve it. They are a bunch of thieves and racists and liars and misandrous. Oh, they love that vagina. Misogyny is not part of their problem, unless they're like, no, even then. That guy that keeps popping up on YouTube, I love a good misgendering. He goes out and as dressed like a woman with really thin hair, obviously a male, and with no breasts, not even rubber breasts. He only once I ever saw a video with him wearing rubber breasts. Likes to go out into restaurants, and he sets out on a tripod his camera phone, his cell phone, and records all these misgenderings. When the average Joe from Guatemala comes up and goes, "Yes, sir, how may I help you?" Because it's clearly a man. Then he turns into the wiggling poodle of Dana Carvey, which I want to remind you, I went to school with Dana and Brad Carvey. Brad Carvey altered our lives by creating, the first CGI device. I'm going to have to get out my gloves, I think, even before I get my coffee. And I'm going to have to put on some fresh pants because I just took my pants off. Inside this fart sack, I am naked below the waist because I could tell that those dressings had to come off. It was time. But anyway, coronal mass ejection will be the title of this. And for you dumb fuckers who have, at least I know I've got a couple of real steady probably watch every damn video I make. I really appreciate it. Fixed Gear and Josh and those who are native Texans and watch every video I make because y'all know, y'all got some education. I really loved Fixed Gear was straighting this one fucking, I don't know, he probably came from San Jose or some shit like that. I don't really know. I ain't gonna waste the time. Was on here talking about climate change when anybody who's, if you even just go to college and study geology 101 and biology 101, or then you know that we need that CO2, and you know that the climate, actually, Earth, the climate of Earth was real stable for about 3 billion years. It was fucking boiling fucking hot. There was almost no life on this planet until like the last billion or so years because it was too hot, which is God's design. He was kind of keeping the planet sterile until he began his creations. It wasn't that long ago in geologic time that the oceans of this planet were near boiling point at Fahrenheit, centigrade, whatever the hell you want to call it. That's where I even having trouble with my students 20 or 30 years ago. I keep using the term centigrade instead of Celsius. You see what I mean? You can spot me as old school because I still use the term centigrade instead of Celsius. But we shouldn't have too much trouble because there's fucking cell towers everywhere, and I think the length of the microwaves emitting from our phone are only about 9 centimeters or some shit like that. I'm not sure. Don't quote me. But all you Greta Thunberg types of shit like that, you need to go suck some donkey dick. You really do. Especially that little bitch. She's been flying around America. She came from her theatrical dramaturge parents in Scandinavia. Came over here on about a $10 to $20 million yacht manned by 10 men, carbon footprint, and then landed in America and gave her, "You have stolen my future." No, we didn't. You really don't matter. We, the current generation, must do the best we can with what we have, which is fossil fuels. And for you as some little pissant, titless fucking vegan, you have no room to speak about anything about your fucking future. It's up to you to make your fucking future, okay? We got that straight? I'm about 20 minutes. And I need to put on a fresh pair of pants. Yeah. Probably going to go to a damn hotel today because unless I put on some gloves, which I found out are not conductive, they said they were, I can't operate this phone with those gloves on. I love Swiss Tech, but the Swiss Tech of 2 years ago doesn't exist anymore because they've probably been bought out by the Chinese. So I probably will check in this morning early because I pay for that privilege. I pay for it. not the fucking First United Methodist Church of Pflugerville. Pflugerville, the United Methodist Church. That's my money, motherfucker. And I tell you what, they had better pay me by the end of January, or I won't have some shekels to squeeze. And there goes a tractor, but with no trailer, because he probably just dropped off at Amazon. You're unlikely to see any more further morning reports. And for my people in the United Kingdom, it's now about 8, 9 a.m. By the time I upload this, it'll be about 9 o'clock. Have yourself a nice cup of hot tea, and you might want to heat up that milk too, because peristalsis depends upon heat. Unless you're eating American Frankenfoods, and then peristalsis is out of fucking control. I eat such a boring, bland diet because I don't like being sick. I don't like shitting in my pants. You know how many people in this country are literally right now 30, 40 years old, are shitting in their pants all the time, and a lot of them are probably wearing adult diapers because they haven't learned that what they're eating, all those delicious queso and chips and all that shit, is giving them the shits. I swear. And now some fucker, and backing up, some fucker stops on the parkway, and he's going to come in and see if, oh, he's going, no, he's going to 7-Eleven. Thought he was going to see if Starbucks was open at fucking 3 a.m. I'm old. I'm tired. I just want to die. Anyway, you know, when I was young, 42 degrees was nothing to me. I was so hot-blooded. I am a genetic cryophile, but in my old age, I'm damaged. Especially, I haven't been eating my usual, 20 to 30,000 calories a day to maintain that burning furnace inside of me. I don't really care. That hurt. We'll have another pull off that bottle in a minute. See, some of your comments, throw me off, and therefore you get deleted. Some guy said, I wish it was long. I wish it was like 4 hours. Well, that creeps me the fuck out. So I ain't gonna block you, but your comment gets deleted because just of weirdness. Who the hell would want to spend 4 hours listening to me talk? You know what I'm saying? I gotta admit, though, night before last, I was catching up on the videos of Cass Comerford, the Australian actor. He's done a lot of these shorts and indies and stuff like that. One of them got best musical score at Sundance. Here goes the last draft. I like his shit. I really do. It's nice to meet some man who's even more senior than myself, and I remember particularly he does a thing about like kind of like a well-dressed guy who's on the up, and he's got on a white jacket and stuff, and he starts kind of dancing because I do that therapeutically. And his shoes begin to fall apart. Somehow, new shoes come out of nowhere. The director of that little short was Anne, kind of had a romantic sounding name, Spanish or French. And Cass doesn't like the new shoes because they're stiff. I want to point out that in one movie, they point out the fact that a lot of Jews a long time ago used to make their living breaking in shoes for the rich because the leather would be stiff and glued, and that was their job. They would shove newspaper in the toes and try to put the proper bent. They'd walk around all day long in brand new shoes for the benefit of the super wealthy. May have been in the movie Cobbler with Adam Sandler. I don't remember. And there goes some fucking ambulance, the same ambulance company that was found culpable in a death on their ambulance 3-4 months ago. 4 months ago. Yeah, now you get to look right up my nostrils, which are probably pretty clean. I don't have hairy nostrils there. A long time ago, some gay ass fucking dermatologist, because I hadn't figured out yet that the skin problem I was having was due to poison sumac, which is all over Texas now. And he gave me a very expensive Rich Boys steroidal cream, a nice brown color. So in reality, all I really had to do was wash my body with a good, strong sodium hypochlorite solution to get rid of the sumac oils. Oh, I'm sorry, bleach. Clorox bleach, which was invented by a surgeon more than a century ago. Only now does the AMA approve my many uses of Clorox bleach. I'm at 28-25 seconds, and I don't care. My lower body is nice and warm, and my hands are cold, but my face is not because I've got all this shit on it. And there goes another fucking ambulance catering to old folks. They're not dying because, see? That's the problem with America right now. Cass Comerford, you're absolutely right. America has completely failed me. But people who work for Dell and Amazon and shit like that are overinsured and have too much fucking money, they call that fucking ambulance day and night. The same ambulance company that was ruled culpable in a death on board one of their ambulances 4 months ago. Anyway, I'll get back on the point at 30 minutes. I want to reiterate that we're having I'll have to check to be sure I'm not lying to, not being lied to. There's a coronal mass ejection from the sun, which is interfering with the communications, the simple radio communications of cops and ambulances and stuff like that. And 30 some odd years ago, pretty much wiped out communications in America. If they were wiping them out here, they had to be in Australia, all over Europe, etc. You just didn't hear the news because you couldn't get the news. I'm going to remind you, if you're going to come onto my channel talking about climate change, perhaps I will finish here. After the really hot period, roughly as I recall, the first 3 billion years or so of Earth was super fucking hot. We didn't even have the first bacterium until it started cooling down to within God's operating range. The climate on this planet, as I've pointed out before, there are 3 dry arid zones on this planet that are strictly solar. You come on my channel, if anything, the channel known as Fixed Gear will set your ass straight, and I will find it and just fucking delete you for being a retard. Don't come on here indicating that in any way that there's any kind of man-made global warming or man-made climate change, because you clearly cannot do simple fucking arithmetic. It doesn't require math. It only requires simple arithmetic, which George Carlin did and talked about in his famous 7 minutes and 14 seconds of global warming. You need to really watch George Carlin, who was a sofa spud, pothead comedian who was not stupid. He could tell just by doing some simple arithmetic, not higher math, that in no way could man alter, fuck up, or in any ways change this planet except for the good. We need the carbon dioxide that we are drawing up from bio-rich eras. Think about it. In the past, there was so much life that there are layers of almost pure carbon called coal, which should be burned first of all. And I'm going to try to end it here. Being in the oil and gas business, it's been 23 years ago since the publication of a worldwide study that showed that it appears to be in every crack and crevice on this planet, there appears to be chemosynthetic organisms generating methane, as the English say, methane gas, and eventually oil for use in our thumpity nigga. I'm sorry. Some people think me racist. No, I've talked about my black cousin like Lonnie Faye Carol Alexander, who hates niggers. She is a black woman. She will buy every nigger out of her fucking neighborhood and run them off because they act like turd balls. She is a hardworking, hasn't really missed a day of work hardly since age 18. They had forced her to retire at age about 80. You go, girl. Me, I got busted up kind of early. But you know what? Black people hate fucking niggers. They really do. They just drag them down. Nobody likes niggers. Not even niggers. This will be marked for 18 and above, so I can say what I want to say. I'm sorry, my hands are near frozen because, you know, these hands have been used to damage a lot of people and in their lives. And therefore, I don't have really, see, it's happening right now, don't have good circulation in my hands. Plus, my left arm is broken, so. And I'm holding the phone in my left hand. This might be the only video I make for the day because right now I'm planning on booking a hotel room because I need to do, think about it. I truly don't know of any public laundromat in Pflugerville because everybody here is rich and owns their own goddamn, washer and dryer or live in some place that has a washer and a dryer. I did a check the other day and to my knowledge, there's no public laundromats unless I cross over, watch the hands, into the hellhole known as Austin, which I do not want to ever do again. I'm sorry, I'm having that. I wish I could buy the world a token, teaching to sing in harmony. That's never going to happen because of maybe if I get indoors tomorrow and get some rest, which is liable to happen because I still have some go bag money. I will teach you the 3 or more things to look for in leaving your children with somebody else and your employee, like an au pair. They need to be tightly screened, or even your own family, because my gay friend Rufus, the dancer and stuff like that, had his childhood glaucomas from getting his ass beat, smacked in the face, etc. He was even developing cataracts. And after I gave Rufus like 15 years to be nice and polite and prove that being gay is okay, at a family reunion, Rufus was caught sucking his nephew's dick. I've told you before, I'm a student of the human psyche, the soul. And every one of them, if I give them enough time, they eventually admit that all they can really think about is Smooching Young Goober. I can't believe I shared a pipe with Dennis Perone, a known pedophile. And to tell you the truth, I think Hobo Shitstain is a fucking pedophile because he stopped and there's huge chunks missing from his video of both Waterville and Bangor, Maine, where pedophilia is the norm. Well, that's why we call them prostitutes. Tots. He could get little girls, little boys to do anything he wants for like a pack of cigarettes and a pint of whiskey. I don't care what your bullshit is. My empiricism overrides your political bullshit. Just like the 4 Ivy League bullshit dykes that refuse to fess up to the United States Congress. I don't fucking care about your opinion or your cultural Marxism or your other shit to take down white men who provided almost all the prosperity on this planet. Really, here's my challenge to you. Name me one modern thing that's an everyday use that was not created by white men, or in one case, a white woman, German, Hedwig or Hedy Lamarr. She actually helped us to beat the Nazis with her rolling frequency thing, which is actually still standard in cell phones. You know, I don't know everything, but what I know real fucking good. I'm at almost 45 minutes. I don't give a fuck. To my loyal fans in the United Kingdom, which I have to assume they're including Australia, because I've got a bunch of subscribers there. I actually have 6% of my subscribers are in the United Kingdom, whether it's Australia, England, Scotland, Wales, because we're the same people. I might be a Jew, but I really am still an English, Nordic, Viking Jew. So just remember, mass coronal ejection in the middle of winter, which is unusual. It's airplanes may start crashing, just like a couple of weeks ago at the Dallas Air Show. A high-speed jet just cut through was a DC 3 or something like that, just cut it in half because they weren't really watching. When you move it, I mean, for those of you who've never driven a fast car, or been in a very fast airplane, as you accelerate, your field of vision becomes very narrow. That's why fighter pilots and shit are constantly doing this in their cockpit. They can't see except for straight ahead. That's what happens at high speed. Anyway, I need to put on some fresh pants and begin dressing my wounds. Wounds that may never go away.